Good evening.
How is the day going?
Very well, thank you.
Okay, welcome. Welcome. I Let's just give a few minutes for others to join us, and then we'll pick up from there. Okay, Kasina, Mr. Akise, good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Yeah, good evening. How are you doing today, sir?
Bless God.
That's good. That's good. So just a few minutes, let's say 5 minutes, then we'll kick start. So I will just wait for the others to join us within that time frame. So by 7:10, we'll start the meeting proper. Hope that's okay by us. Okay, thank you. Okay, welcome. Welcome. Okay. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to this boot camp. Uh, my name is Steven, and I'll be your facilitator for tonight. So it's going to be an awesome time. Uh, we're going to have a great time today. We're going to be looking at the business processes, how we master it as a business analyst. So I want to believe that every one of us here has interest in becoming a business analyst. So first and foremost, welcome once again. I'm going to be sharing my screen now so that we can begin the class. Please, if you can see my screen, just let me know. Okay, we can always use the reaction button. We can use the reaction button. You want to ask a question, feel free. Just use the reaction button. Okay, thank you, Collins, for that. So quickly, welcome to April Business Analysis Bootcamp. Here at Amdon, we say this is your pathway to becoming a professional business analyst, and we mean every word of it. At Amdon, we give you only the best. So within the next couple of months, it doesn't matter where you're coming from, doesn't matter your experience or your background, you're going to be leaving Amdor as a professional professional business analyst, which means you will be able to compete with other top professionals out there for business analyst role. So glad to meet you. And here I am. I am Steven. I'm a seasoned business professional analyst, also with data analytic experience. So far, so good. I've worked in the IT, education, consulting, social work, and health. Currently working as the lead business analyst for an international NGO whose office is in the US, Nigeria, Mexico. So that's where I am presently. So it's a privilege to meet you guys. I'd like to stay to the end, and then I'll share my story with you on how I got to where I am today. You too can also get there. So let's dive into today's session. Are we all together? Are we together? Can we all hear me?
Yes, we can
Yes, we
hear
can
you.
hear you. Okay, that's good. That's good. I love that. So quickly, what is business analysis? Uh, like I have here, it is the practice of identifying business needs and finding technical solutions to that particular needs. So the role of a business analyst is to bridge the gap between the business and the IT. When we talk about IT, we mean technology. You understand me now? So your role as a business analyst is to bridge that gap. You get the solution, and then you are the point man or the middleman that liaises with the IT team or the software team or whichever team is responsible for developing that solution for you. That is who you are as a business analyst. And what are the importance? The importance are very clear. We ensure that the right problems are solved, minimize the risks of project failure. I always say this, every project where business analyst is missing tends to have a 90% chance of failing. In this present economic situation or present business operation we find ourselves, if a business analyst is not in that project, the chances of succeeding is very, very minimum. It's 10 over 100. That is how important we have grown to be as business analysts. So number two importance is we help organizations make data-driven decisions and optimize their business processes. Take for instance, Jumia, Amazon, Konga. In 2020, Amazon grew to become one of the, in fact, the number one richest company in the world. And the owner, Jeff Bezos, became the richest man in the world. What was the secret? Optimized business processes. While companies were shutting down, what Amazon did was to optimize their business process. And by optimizing their business process, their revenue grew from where it was to becoming world number one. It becomes the go-to e-commerce platform for everybody around the world because they were able to optimize their business processes. And this is due to the work of a business analyst, which is what you are going to become at the end of your time with Amdoranalytics. Number three importance, we deliver a key success to every project. And how do we do this? We ensure that the solution aligns, meets the stakeholders' needs, is in line with the standardized process or requirement for that particular business in that sector or industry. And we ensure that the solution we are delivering brings value to the organization and to its customers. So as business analysts, our role cannot be overemphasized. You can't take us out of the equation. You see, business analyst is not something new. It has been in existence. Although the term may be something new, but it has been something that has been in existence before. And as a business analyst, you are so important to the organization. So what are the roles of business analysts? Quickly, number one is to gather requirements. When we say gather requirement, that means you need to understand the needs of the stakeholders and you need to put those needs into documentation. So you meet with the stakeholders, you interact with them, maybe through interview, through survey, and then you gather this requirement in the form of feedback and document it. So from doing this, you now move to what is called solution design. So it is in your solution design, you now go back to that document you have prepared. So this is where you now begin to form your solution from. From your solution from the documentation you have done when meeting with the respective stakeholders. So you gather requirements, you design the solution. Number three role of a business analyst is you are responsible for improving the business process. And this is one of the key things we're going to be looking today, mastering business processes. Mastering business processes is one of the key things we are looking today. And this is one of the key role of every business analyst. So you analyze the existing process, and then you look at where there needs to be adjustment, amendment, and then you make those recommendations for improvement in line with the industry standard, in line with the business needs, in line with the stakeholders' needs, and in line with the goal, the overall goal of the business. So this is one of the things you do. Number four is quality assurance. Although in most organizations, they have a team that is responsible for QA. We call it QA. And what does QA do, or what does these people do, or what does the team do? They are responsible to ensure that the solution you design meets the industry standard and aligns with the business need. So they test the solution, they prove the solution to ensure that what you have designed or proposed meets the standard of that organization and within the sector that organization operates from. So this is what the quality assurance team does. And most times, the business analyst is responsible for it. But at times in various organizations, they have a team that is responsible for it. Quality assurance is also a career path on its own. So it depends on the organization you find yourself. And lastly, that we're going to be looking tonight as one of the core responsibility and job function of a business analyst is stakeholder communication. Very vital. Every business analyst is the main communicator in that business. You are linking every unit of the business together. You're linking every unit of the business together, from the management to the internal stakeholder to the external stakeholder. You are responsible for the communication flow, because you are like the blood flowing through every vein of that organization. So every communication that has to do within and outside flows through you as a business analyst. And that is why I said here, as you are acting as a liaison between technical teams and business stakeholders. So your job function is very vital as a business analyst. Are we following? Are we together?
Yes, we are.
Okay, that's good to know. Thank you so much. So let's go forward. So what are the career paths we can have as business analysts? I've broke them down into three different career paths. We have the entry level, we have the mid level, and then we have the senior level positions. So for this entry level, we have something like junior business analyst, requirement analyst, data gathering, and the rest like that. So for the mid-level, you have a business analyst, product manager, functional analyst, IT analyst, system analyst. Those are mid-level positions. But for the senior analyst, we have a senior business analyst, we have lead business analyst, we have solution architect, project analyst, project manager, product analyst. You see, these are just terms that we use to categorize the level and the opportunity available to business analysts. Mind you, there is no limits. That's the beauty of the field. There is no word limit. Number two, what are the industry that needs business analysts? Every industry needs a business analyst. Like I told you, I've worked in education, I've worked in edtech, I've worked in health, I've worked in IT, I've worked in social work and NGO. Also in the finance sector, I have worked there as a business analyst. So every organization needs a business analyst. There is no organization that doesn't need you. So you are needed everywhere, everywhere, everywhere. What are the career growth we have? Career growth is unlimited. You can enter today as an entry level, and within a space of 1 year, 2 years, you are going in as a senior level. So there is no limit to your career growth. No limits. Everything depends on you. So you can transition like from roles of BA to become project manager, product owner, or even consultant. You can also transition from senior business analyst into roles to CTO, chief technology officer, chief information officer, depending on the organization you find yourself. So there is unlimited career growth, there's unlimited job opening, there's unlimited potential, and there's unlimited success. The truth is, we have more BA job than more BA professional. And that is why at Amdon, we focus on making you a business analyst professional, because we know that the job is out there for you. So that is our focus, that is our target, that is our mission, that is our vision. And we know we have done it with others, we can also do it with you. It doesn't matter where you are coming from. We've gotten people from microbiology transition into business analysts, and they are doing well. We've gotten people from education, College of Education, OND, ND, that is not related to maths, to statistics, to computer. At the end of the day, they transition into the role of a business analyst, and they are doing well. So you too will do well. That is an assurance. So let's go forward. So what are the key skills you need as a business analyst? If you check to the screen, you will see I just listed 5. And these 5 of them is something you have already. You have these skills already. You have communication skill, you have analytical thinking skill, you have critical thinking skill, you have problem solving skill, you have negotiation skill. So all these skills are what you have already. What is communication? The ability to communicate clearly, listen to what your stakeholders are saying, document what your stakeholders are saying, and then interact with it to give them the possible outcome as they demand. You have it already. You have been communicating maybe with your wife, maybe with your children, maybe with your friends, your colleague. You guys have been communicating. So you have these skills already. It's not something new to you. The difference is the place you have been applying it is different. So now you're coming into another new field to now apply this same skill. And we're going to teach you how to do it. Number 2 is analytical thinking. That is your ability to analyze complex problem, identify issues, analytical thinking. So you have a problem. The question is, how do you go about it? How do you solve it? So you identify the problem, identify the root cause, and then you are able to make a recommendation, provide solution. That is analytical thinking. Number three is critical thinking. And what are you doing here? You are looking at multiple options to solving the problem. Multiple options. So you've seen the problem, you've analyzed the problem, you've done analytical thinking. Now you are taking analytical thinking a step further. You are not creating options for you. So you have option A, option B, option B, option C, option D. And then at the end of the day, you will now look at the best option to solve the problem. That is what critical thinking entails. And you have it already. It's something you have been doing again and again, again and again. And all this put together is what makes us to become problem solver. You are able to identify issue, you're able to create solution, you're able to improve the business process or the outcome, or maybe improve the solution you also recommend. You are just a problem solver. You are able to solve conflict, solve dispute, anything that qualifies you to solve problem makes you a problem solver. And that makes you a good business analyst. So you have the skills already needed. And the lastly is negotiation. In fact, every Nigeria is a good negotiator. I've never seen a Nigerian that goes to the market and they said, this thing is 10,000, and then you just count 10,000 and give to the person. You will negotiate. Oh, please, okay, how much last? Uh, I'll give you 9.8. I'll give you 9.5. You always negotiate. So you are already a negotiator. And this is one of the key skills of a business analyst. So communication, analytical thinking, critical thinking, problem solving, and negotiation skills. These are core skills of a business analyst, and you have all of them already. So you are already a business analyst in the making. You're already a business analyst in the making, and we will help you get to that place as a professional, not as an amateur, not as an entry level. For as long as you have an experience, maybe if you have 5 years working experience, you already have 5 years working experience as a business analyst. Trust me, if you have 10 years working experience, you already have 10 years working experience as a business analyst. And we will help you, we will show you, we will teach you how to prepare that CV that will show that you have the 10 years working experience, the 5 years working experience as a business analyst, using your previous experience, using your communication skill, analytical thinking skill, critical thinking skill, problem solving skill, negotiation skill. We will show you all of this. All of this we will show you. So you are in the best place, you are at the right place and at the right time. So let's go forward. If we have any question, use the raise your hand button, and then you'll be given the privilege to ask your question. Are we following? Are we following, guys? You can use the thumbs up button to show me that we're following and we are together. I don't want to be talking to myself. Okay, good. Thank you so much for that. So let's go forward. So we've looked at the key skills, that's the core skills. Now let's look at the technical aspects, the tools you're going to be using as business analysts. I know most of you will say, I don't know Jira, I don't know Trello, which one is Draw.io, which one is Mirror. Don't panic. That is why we are here. So 5 tools that you're going to be needing that are key as business analysts. Number 1 is the Microsoft Office tool. Here we're using the Excel, the Word, and the PowerPoint. So Microsoft Excel, Microsoft Word, Microsoft PowerPoint. I believe if you are not conversant with Excel, you are using Microsoft Word and PowerPoint. So we will still teach you, especially Microsoft Excel, because it's one of the keys technical skill you need to know. How to prepare your graph with Excel, do your data cleaning, do your analysis. We will teach you all of these using the Excel. In fact, by the time you're done with Excel, you will be amazed what you can do with it. So number 2 key technical skill you need is called process mapping, which is what we are going to be looking at today. Mastering business processes. So process mapping is another technical skill or tools you need to know. And we have varieties of them. We have the likes of Lucid Charts, we have MS Visio, we have Miro, we have Draw.io. Quite a number of them. And we're going to teach you the one that you need. Once you get one, you get all of them. That is the beauty of this tool. By the time you're good with Miro, you're good with Visio, you're good with Draw.io, you're good with Lucid Charts. Because we'll give you the knowledge, and through the knowledge and the tools, you are able to design business processes. You are able to identify bottlenecks, you're able to identify delays, and then optimize these processes. It's the same for all organizations. The only difference is the application, and we will teach you this in your package. Number 3 skill is project management. And under your project management, we have tools like Jira, tools like Trello, tools like Confluence, Asana, varieties of them. We will also teach you how to manage projects using these tools, especially when you're working with cross-functional teams. When you, like for those of us that are not in Nigeria, that will be getting a job as a business analyst, you're going to be needing this tool. Except your organization have their own internal tool. Like currently where I work, we use our Google Hangouts. We don't use any of these tools. We use Google Hangout as our project management tool. So your organization may decide to define their own project management tool, but we will still teach you this. You understand? Because you may need it at some point, so we'll still teach you. Number 4 is the data analysis. And this is where Excel comes in. The advanced mode will teach you. You don't need to know it. We'll teach you from the scratch, and you become a master of it. Power BI also, Tableau also, SQL, arrow programming. These are all data analysis tools. But we are going to be teaching you the industry specified one that is currently in demand. That is what we'll be teaching you. Excel, Power BI, SQL, they are currently in demand. So we'll be teaching you these tools. Whether you have idea about it before or not is not an issue. We will teach you from the scratch. And number 5 technical skill you need to know is called methodologies. And here we have the agile, and then we have the waterfall. So we'll be teaching you the agile, we'll be teaching you the waterfall, Scrum, Kanban, all this methodology that we use in project management, we will teach you. So whether you're coming from a tech background or you're coming from a different background that is not tech inclined, we will teach you these skills. So, like I said before, you are the right place and at the right time. So now let's go to business processes. But before we dive into mastering business processes, do we have any question? Do we have question? Or we are good to go? Okay, I'll take silence to be that there is no question. So, mastering business processes. I said you can identify what you don't know. So, the key terms, let's get to know them. Number one is business. And I said business is any activities where people provide goods or services to others in exchange for money or in exchange for an agreed item or agreed commodity. So it can be a small shop, a big company, or even an online store. The main goal is to earn profit by meeting customers' needs. Number two key theme is process. Process is a series of structured, repeatable activities or tasks that are carried out to achieve a specific goal or produce a desired outcome. So these are the process or structure that governs the business operation. It is a pattern that the business uses to carry out operations or business activities. For example, let's take the educational space. Before you get admission into the university, there are stages you must pass. It is expected that you must have graduated from high school. It's expected that you must have taken JAM. It's expected that you must have written post-UTME, pass the post-UTME, and then gain admission. And even when you are given admission, you need to accept the admission to be admitted into the institute. Now, this is a process. You can't not graduate from high school and gain admission into university. You can't do that. So without your O level, without you being an high school graduate, there is no way for you to gain admission into the university. You can't, it's impossible. So you can't outsmart the process. You can't cut or boycott the process. That is why we'll say it is a pattern that the business uses to carry out its business activities or business operation. Are we following? Come on, guys. Are we following? Are we following? Okay, thank you, Collins, for that. So good. Let's look at some real operational examples of business processes or setup. I have like 6 or 7 that we're going to look at, and then we're going to go into the practical aspect of these examples. So number one, we have employee onboarding. Employee onboarding. And here I say the department is normally human resource. So what are the steps? It is expected that before you get to employee onboarding, you ought to have gone through some series of stages, and then you have been deemed fit to work in the organization. So you have been offered a letter of employment, a place in that organization, and the body responsible or the department responsible is the human resource department. So what are the steps? Offer accepted. So for them to onboard you into the organization, you accept the offer they are giving to you, you send them your documents, and then they set up IT access, they schedule orientation for you, then they assign maybe a mentor depending on the organization. So this is a process of onboarding employee. Now, this is just one aspect in the many activities that takes place in this particular business. So let's take, for instance, now you want to start from the scratch. There must be a vacancy. So the person, the unit or the arm responsible for notifying the organization that there's a vacancy, or the department that there's a vacancy, goes ahead to notify. They come together and say, okay, what are the requirements you're looking for? They gather the requirements, they put up the advert out there, people start applying, candidates start applying, they do their screen and everything. They invite those they want to invite for interview, they interview them, and then they pick the qualified candidates and offer an offer of employment to them. The candidate accepts such employment and then goes through this step to become an employee of that organization. That is why we call this process employee onboarding, because you are onboarding new employee. So I have another example. It's called procure to pay. That's P2P. Procure to pay. And what are the which department? We call procurement and finance department. So what are the steps involved? One, you identify the need. Two, you create purchase requisition. Three, you get approvals. Four, you send purchase order to vendor. Five, you receive your goods or services. Six, you process your invoice. And then finally, the finance team makes the payment. These are the process you undergo in what? Procure to pay. Are you guys still seeing my screen? Okay, good. Good, thank you. Now, my next example is order to cash. Department sales and finance. So what are the steps? Receive customer order, confirm availability, ship products, invoice customer, receive payments. This is what we call payment on delivery. And this is the reigning model for e-commerce, especially new startup or vendors that does not have their own platform. All these vendors you see, or e-commerce vendor you see that advertises their product on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and the rest, and then you go ahead to place your order via WhatsApp or through their website. This is the pattern they follow. You see, they will receive your order through their WhatsApp platform. You chat with maybe with their customer team or whoever is in charge and say, okay, I want so order, and then they will confirm if it's available, and then they will ask you how many quantity, how many units you need. So once it's available, they ship the product. Once they've collected your address, they ship the product to you. The invoice is also sent to you via the platform you're using to communicate with them, and is also sent to the logistic carrier. So by the time the logistic carrier gets to your place with the product, you pick your product and then you make your payments. So this is the model that these guys are using currently. So and it's also what a business process, and this is what also you can what set up. So let's look at other examples that I have here. I have customer support ticket resolution, and then product development life cycle. For the customer support ticket resolution, the department is customer service. So what are the steps? Customers submit their tickets, the issue is categorized, agent is assigned to the customer, the issue is resolved, customer gives feedback or gets the feedback that the issue has been resolved, goes to check to confirm that the issue has been resolved. So if the issue is not resolved, customer comes back and gives his own feedback that the issue is not resolved. They repeat the process again, check the issue, assign agent, then ensure the issue is resolved, then feedback the customer again. This is a business process. Take, for example, now you put a call across to MTN and say, okay, MTN, I'm having issue with my data. I have enough data, but I cannot browse. What you just done is to submit a ticket. But because MTN is live customer, you didn't do it online, they will tell you, okay, hold on, let us check. And then they will ask you for some details. Once you give them those details, maybe your phone number, the package you subscribe to, they will put you on hold. What they are doing there is the agent that they ought to have assigned that is now checking the issue. So if it's what the agent can resolve, the agent will resolve it and tell you, okay, do this on your phone. I've been able to resolve the issue. So when you do it, and then you are able to browse, you tell them, okay, good, the issue has been resolved. Then they will close that ticket. Sometimes you see that when you end the call, they will now send you a text demanding for your feedback. So they want to know how well they did. They want to know if the issue was resolved. So they demanded for your feedback. So if the issue has not been resolved, you will report to them via that feedback that the issue has not been resolved. It's also a business process. Then we have the product development life cycle. And the department is always R&D or product development department. So it depends on the organization. Some organizations have research and development, some don't have. So it depends on the organization you find yourself. And what are the steps? Market research, ideation and prototyping, that's idea creation, and then doing prototyping of that idea. Then the next step is testing. You gather people, you test the product, that's the prototype you have done, and then you get their feedback, and you launch the final development. You do testing again, get feedback. So once you are okay with the final output, you launch your product. So this is a typical example of business processes in general terms. Now I'm going to show you three specific business processes, industry-related business processes, and that's what we're going to be looking at. So we have in healthcare, we have the patient intake ratio. In banking, we have the loan approval process. In retail, we have inventory replenishment. So when you look at healthcare, the steps are straightforward. When you go to the hospital, what is the first thing you want to do? Is to book an appointment. So you bring out your hospital card, you give them your hospital card, and then they fill the appointment date. Whether it is that day or maybe it is later, they're going to fill it in that card. When they are done with that, they register you. So when you're done with the registration, they take your medical history. If it's not a hospital you have been using before, they're going to ask you a series of questions. But if it happens to be the hospital you have been using before, they will just go to your file. Already your file should be on the doctor's table or on the physician that is going to screen you. So once they collect your medical history, they still go ahead to now do some screening, carry some tests and the rest like that. And then they will assign you in most cases either to a doctor, or they will send you to a pharmacist, or they will assign you to a physician, either a doctor, a nurse, or a pharmacist that's going to finalize the whole case with you. Maybe you did a test, then they will assign you to somebody that will interpret your results and make a prescription for you that you need to get better. So this is the process the patient intake goes through. You understand now? In the healthcare, there are different processes that occurs in the healthcare. We have a patient admission processes, the process that it takes for them to admit a patient in the in the hospital. There's also a series of steps that are what that are involved. So, and this is the work of a business analyst. That is why, as a business analyst, you are not limited. You can work anywhere, anywhere you can work. So let's look at number two, which is the banking aspect, where we have the loan approval process. You want to apply for a loan. What's the first thing you do? Locate the company you want to apply to the loan from, submit your loan application. So what the company does is to assess your credit score. When they are done assessing your credit score, they carry out what is called a risk analysis. You will not see it, but most of these things are automated. So all those time you are submitting your application, you're doing your physical verification, your real person verification, you're putting your BVN, your NIN, your phone number, your email. What the app is doing, the app has been programmed already. So there's an automation process that takes at the back end that links your details to your credit assessment portal. So your credit is assessed. From there, the automation takes them to what is called a risk analysis. So that risk analysis is now what tells the organization that, okay, based on what we've checked, this person has collected loans from different people and he has paid back at the right time. He has not defaulted. So he's a good candidate. That way you're going to get an approval. From approval, you get to disbursement of funds. But if the risk analysis returns to be negative, that you are owing series of loan, you've not paid back some many years back, you will get a rejection. And that means you cannot proceed to the next stage of disbursement. Yours end at what? The process for you ends at rejection. So that is also a process, and as business analysts, this is what we are responsible for. And the last industry specific example I have is the retail, which is inventory replenishment. What happens here is that Jumia, Amazon, Konga, eBay, all these giants of e-commerce, Alibaba, AliExpress, Temu, what they do is they have an inbuilt automation that monitors stock level. It monitors what? Stock level. And by monitoring stock level, if they have 10 items, 20 items, as people are making purchases, they are able to auto-generate purchase order based on the number of order that is being made versus the stock availability. And that's why you see them when they are doing promo, they will tell you promo is only valid when stock is available. They will tell you promo valid when stock lasts. So what it means is that they have an automation monitoring the stock level. So if as people are placing order, you not come and maybe what is left is just 3 and you want to buy 5, you will not be able to buy 5. It will tell you you can only purchase 3, which is 3 items left. So you either purchase that 3 or forget about it. So in inventory replenishment, it monitors stock level, auto-generate purchase order. If the order is available, approves the order, supplies the delivery, and then updates the stock record on what is left again to repeat the same business process for another customer that is coming. So this is how inventory replenishment works. And all these things are built by business analysts. Your own is to design the process, liaise with the technical team that is going to prepare the automation software and the rest like that, and then you go ahead and integrate it into the platform, test run it to see that it's working well, and once everything is okay, that's the end of that project. You move on to the next. You are as good as anything. So this is how we operate as business analysts. That is why we are so vital to any organization. You can't take us out of any organization if they want to succeed. We are part and parcel of it. So do we have any question, guys, before we go into practical? I want us to ask question. You have question you want to ask, go ahead and ask your question. Question. If there's no question, just use the thumbs up, and so that I'll just we'll proceed to okay, good, okay. Okay, thank you so much. So in absence of a question, we're going to move on to live practical. So like I told us before, we're going to be using draw.io. We use draw.io. So to do our, so you just go to your browser and here draw.io, and then I'm coming in. Good. So allow it to load. It's going to ask me where I want to save my diagram. I'm saving it to my device. I'm creating a new diagram. So what are we doing? Mastering business process, blank documents, create. So I'm going to save this to my desktop, and this is what we have. Hope you can see my screen clearly. Okay, that's good. Now we're going to replicate. Let me open this. We're going to be designing the slide. These are our examples. So look at our example here now. We're going to design these processes. Patient intake process. What are the steps? Appointment booking, patient register, medical history collection, initiate screening, assign to physician. So this is a very simple, straightforward process. So what do we want to do? We want to pick our shape first. This is the start shape. So after these are starts, and this start is what? Appointment booking. So here we have appointment booking. This is where the journey of the patient starts from. Then from here we migrate to what? I don't want to use this. So here we get to the next stage in the process is patient register. So here we have a patient register. And after that, we have a medical history collection. So we have our medical history collection. And after that, the next process is initial screening. So we have initial screening. And then we have assign to physician. Assigned to physician and end of what? Process. And so now this is how it goes from year to year, year to year, year to year, year to year, and finally. So this is it. This is what we have now. This is what we have. This is the process for this. Appointment booking, first step. Patient register, second step. Medical history collected, third step. Initial screening, fourth step. Assign to physician, and finally, that brings us to the end of that particular process. So you can decide to beautify this and say, okay, let's make this red, then this, and then you can have something as beautiful as this. So this is the process for what? Patients intake for healthcare. This is the process that they are going to undergo. So you can see that is a simple is as simple as ABC. It's not difficult. It's not difficult at all. Once you have understanding, and the tools to use are not complex, they are not difficult. Now let's look at another one. Let's look at loan approval. So we have how many steps? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the first step is application submission. So here we have our first step. And then we'll go together. We have these. Again, we have these. So application submission, credit assessment, risk analysis. Then we have 1, 2, 3. Then the fourth step is a decision step. This is a decision step. And then we have this. That's disbursement. And finally, end of process. So let me put this one here, and you see why. Now, this is what we have. Loan application submitted. Then we have credit assessment. We have risk analysis. Then here we have approval/rejection. Approval/rejection. Disbursement of fund. And then end. Now, let's link our loan approval. Let me put this. Loan application process. So first thing first, from loan application submitted, you move to credit assessments, to risk analysis, and to what? So the outcome of the risk analysis is now what is now going to determine this decision here. So if it is approved, we come here. If it is not approved, if it is approved, we come here. If it is not approved, we come here. So here we now have rejection. And here we have approved. So if the loan is approved, it comes to the disbursement of fund. If it is not approved, it goes to rejection. Do we understand, guys? Okay, that's good. So that is how the process works. That is how the process works. So we must understand, and this is your work as a business analyst. Very, very, you can see that it's very, very what? Simple. Very simple. So loan application submitted, the apps automate your credit assessment, does that for you, does risk analysis. Now the outcome of the risk analysis now determines if your loan is approved or rejected. If your loan is rejected, that comes the end of that cycle for you. If it is approved, it comes to the disbursement of funds. So you get the fund, and that is the end of the cycle. So you can decide to beautify it again if you want. Since we're talking about approval, I give this one green. Then decision takes this, risk analysis. Voila. This is what we want. We have. So this is our loan approval process. So this is what typically go for every loan app you see, or should I say majority of the loan app you see. This is what and what's on that goes on at the back end. So you don't see credit assessment, you don't see risk assessment, you only get a decision. Once you submit your loan, the next thing you are seeing on your interface is you submit your loan, and then you're seeing either an approval or a rejection. So if it's approved, you are seeing your disbursement on fund, and that is the end. But this is the real process. So this occurs in the app. You don't see it at the front end. Are we together, guys? Okay, that's good. That's good. So let's look at the last one we have, and then we can take maybe any one of us that wish to share their own business process or operational process. Then we'll design a process for them. So here we have the retail industry as inventory replenishment. So I'll just do this inventory replenishment. So the first thing is you have your process initiation. That's a monitor stock level. You get to auto generate, and then you have your approve. Anywhere you have approve, this is what you use. That means it's a decision you have to take. So we will teach you about these shapes when you come on board. Then if it is approved, you have this, and what else? Update stock record, and then process end. So it's just this, this, this. So here now, let me bring this down. So if this is rejected, we have this. So monitor stock level. Auto generate purchase order. You have approve. So here you either have approve or reject. Let me use decline. Decline. So here we have decline. We have approve. So after, if it is approved, you go to the next stage. Supplier delivers products. Then update stock record. Update stock record. This is end. So if it is rejected, we just have this. Let me take this away. So once your order is declined, that brings you to the end of that circle. Or they may decide to do a pushback. Sometimes they decide to do a pushback. They can say, okay, they will push back the order. They will push back the order, and then you will now have to repeat the order again. So if they push back your order, so what you will now do is maybe to reduce the quantity you are ordering for. So it depends on the business process. They determine how it's going to go. So do we have any question? We have question. Let's ask our question. Feel free to ask your question. So I save this as PMP file. Question. Do we have question? So this is what we designed. Okay, go ahead, unmute and ask your question, Akise.
Yes, thank you for this. I just wanted to ask, this is the process mapping. So if you happen to be a BA, will they give you a document that stipulates the process, or how does the tax come that you have to do the process mapping? Will their document stipulate how the process is being done? I believe that if an organization is doing something in a particular way and they might need certain improvements. So how do we the process mapping, does it reflect the improvements already, or does it just give us what was already existing prior, the operational
Okay,
procedures?
okay, thank you very much for that question. So the first question, yes, the organization will give you a document that outline their processes. And if they don't have, you as the business analyst will not be the one to create. But before you do your creation, you have to now meet with the various stakeholders that are involved in those activities. Take, for instance, now this loan, let me bring it. This loan, this loan application process. Now, let's say you're working for the microfinance bank that is giving out this loan. The people responsible for collating the submitted application is the sales team. The people responsible for doing credit assessment is the risk team, maybe the underwriter or something of such. Then they may not say, okay, we have underwriter, we have senior underwriter that's going to carry out risk analysis. Is this person qualified to be given a loan? You understand me now? So it is based on all this that they now come to a decision. So if the decision is to give the person the loan, they move down to the finance department that disburse the loan. And that brings them to the end of that circle. So they will now go to another circle that has to do with collection and recovery. That is another process. So what you would do if you're not giving the stages and the people that are involved, you're going to have what is called a stakeholder meeting. In that stakeholder meeting, you are going to meet with all the stakeholders that are involved in the organization. And then one by one, you'll be asking them questions. So as you're asking them questions, you will now be outlining the processes, the stages, who is responsible for who does this, who does that. You understand me now? So who collects loan application, who is responsible for credit assessment, who is responsible for risk assessment, who approves loan, who disburses fund, what happens after disbursement of fund. So those are what you are now going to put down in a document. So once you put all of that down in a document, you now from there start building the process one after the other. You understand now? So now you have the process. So what you do to carry out process improvements, you will still go back to your stakeholder and ask them, where are they having difficulty? Let's say your organization does not have a data analyst, because normally it's the work of a data analyst to prepare a report, maybe a weekly report, a monthly report about how their loan process works, how many loan has been given out, how many is spending, what's the turnaround time. You understand me now? So once that report is prepared, you will now use that report to do your analysis. That is where you will now see where or which of the process needs optimization. So let's say in this process now, in your credit assessment, they have too many processes, there are too many review, because they want to check if this person is qualified. And then in your risk analysis too, they have too many process, too many review. So if it takes them 10 minutes to submit and collect loan application, and then it takes them 30 minutes to do credit assessment, 30 minutes to do risk assessment before they get to a decision. Or sometimes credit assessment does and pass to risk assessment. Risk assessment now carries out the analysis and say that something is missing, that credit assessment did not submit. They now push it back to credit assessment. That is more time delay. So that is where you will now focus on carrying out your optimization. That is why you see this is what led to 80% of loan app takes place within 10 minutes, 15 minutes, because this process of risk assessment has been optimized. The process of credit assessment has been optimized. So they still do manual, but the manual is now based on the feedback from this automation. So if a loan is rejected, they will now carry out a manual check what brought about the rejection of the loan. You understand now? So that is how you carry out your optimization. That is how you do your optimization. Are we together? Okay, good, good. Do we have any other question? Any other question?
Okay,
Oh,
just to clarify, so
okay.
you now find out that there's a particular document or there's something that they are not submitting alongside the application that has allowed for, or the previous department did not check something, for to enable the conduct the risk assessment successfully. So what then happens? It means that you are returning it back. So does it reflect in the process map?
Yes, it reflects in the process map. So there's going to be a pushback. This is just a simple process map. If I want to, if you want to do the real process map for loan, is bigger than this, because now we're going to be dealing with department by department. Now, mind you, loan application collected is one department. So the department responsible for this is different. 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 So you can see that it's more than 5 different departments that is here already. And that is why when you enroll for your course, that is when you now get to know what is called a swing line diagram. We call it swing line diagram. So if I want to do that now, let me show you. So this is what you now have. I want to show you how. So we're bringing this down. Okay, good. So we have loan application submitted. So let's say These two is carried out by one department. Then here you have your approval. Do you understand what I have here now?
Yes.
So this is what you are going to have for a typical loan. Let's say this is sales. Then here we have a underwriter. Then here we have a management. And here we have a finance. This is what you have. So sales team collect loan application. Underwriter does credit assessment, risk analysis, comes to management for approval. Management approve, it goes to finance. Finance disburse fund, and that's the end of the project. Now, if management disapproves, that's the end of the project. But if it is automated, but if it is done manually, instead of ending this process here, what you do now will now do what is called a pushback. So we have a pushback to return back to this guy here. You understand now? So instead of going to approval, it returns back to what? So this is where you now have your rejection. So if it is rejected, it's not ending the process again. It's going back to risk analysis where it came from. And then it's going back with a note that, okay, this is the reason why we rejected this application. And then they will cross-check again and push back for either approval. So if it is now good to go, they approve and then get their fund. Do you understand? Okay, that's good. So do we have another question? I think our time is up. Any other question before we call it a day? Okay. So because of time, we're going to stop here. Tomorrow we're going to continue, and I'm going to be showing you what you are likely to earn as a business analyst. I'll be showing you jobs that are available, and trust me, they are releasing business analyst job every day. I can't tell you how many I've gotten today. I've gotten enough today. This is business project consultants sent to me today. So jobs are coming out. This is business analyst role at Cognizant Tech. Every day, jobs are coming out. Jobs are coming out. So as a business analyst, you have great opportunity. Great opportunity. And tomorrow I'm going to be showing you all of this. And then what you stand to gain with Amdoranalytics, how we carry out our program, the benefits you get, the mentorship, portfolio building, everything that will make you stand out as a business analyst. We are going to be showing you tomorrow. Your portfolio building that your potential investors are going to see. So you're going to be building all of these. All of this, you're going to be building all of these when you enroll with us. This is just my own. You're going to build your own. So you have a project to work on to build this. So you have your portfolio that they will be able to see, and when they see it, then definitely you are in already. Then we'll also teach you optimizing your LinkedIn. We'll teach you how to optimize your LinkedIn. So you're not just having a LinkedIn, your LinkedIn becomes a tool that you're going to use to get a job. By optimizing my LinkedIn, I was able to grow to 17,000 plus followers. 17,000 plus followers. That is no joke. So we'll teach you how to do all of this, including your CV revamping and every tool you need to become a successful business analyst. So tomorrow, I'm going to be taking you to the different aspects, showing you the possibility that you are likely to get as a business analyst. So same time tomorrow, uh, don't miss it, don't miss it. And tomorrow I'm going to be sharing my story with you, how I get the roles I get.
Okay, are we not going to have it's a demonstration of this agile methodology, how you use it, and as
Okay, let's
regarding
see
all the tools apart from
let's
drawing.
let's see how tomorrow goes. If time permits, I'll walk you through how we use the agile methodology using our Jira or maybe Trello or Asana.
Yeah. Okay.
So let's see how tomorrow goes.
All right. Then. Thank you so much.
Okay, no problem. So I'll see you guys tomorrow, same time, same place. Okay, enjoy the night, guys.